A millionaire noticed bruises on the cleaning lady, and what he did shocked everyone. Sophia always arrived right on time, exactly 6 a.m. every weekday for 3 months now. She was new at Mendez Construction, but she already had a well-defined routine. At 26 years old, she had learned that going unnoticed was an art. She would arrive, do her work, and leave without conversations, smiles, or drawing attention. That Tuesday morning was hellishly hot, but Sophia wore a long-sleeved blouse. The shirt clung to her body, but she didn't take it off for a second. On her face, a very thick foundation tried to hide a yellowish mark near her ear. The product was slightly melted from the heat, but Sophia didn't care. The important thing was to cover it up. Gabriel Mendez always greeted the employees when he arrived. He was the company's 32-year-old owner. He made a point of knowing everyone by name, almost everyone. Sophia was the exception. After 3 months, he only knew the basics about her. She was married, lived in San Jose, and never ever ate lunch with anyone. "Good morning, everyone." Gabriel spoke loudly as he entered. "Good morning, boss," the crew responded. Sophia would just wave from afar, lower her head, always in the same corner, always in a hurry to get away. Why is she so reserved? Gabriel wondered, watching Sophia eat a simple sandwich alone on the bench outside. That day, Sophia was cleaning the second-floor bathroom. It was one of the few places she felt at peace, away from everyone, with no one asking anything. She scrubbed the floor forcefully, concentrated on her work. The bucket of water was right in the middle of the hallway. Sophia didn't see it when she came out of the bathroom carrying cleaning supplies. She tripped, fell sideways, and the bottles scattered across the floor. She sat there trying to cry. Her shoulder hurt, but it was nothing compared to other pains. "Sophia, are you okay?" It was Gabriel. He'd heard the noise downstairs and came up to see what happened. Sophia was desperate. "Yes, Mr. Gabriel, sorry for the mess. I'll clean it up now." She tried to get up quickly, but slipped again in the water. Gabriel approached and extended his hand, saying, "Calm down, let me help you." As Sophia raised her arm to accept his help, her sleeve went up a few inches. Gabriel saw it immediately, purple marks on her wrist, some dark, others yellowish. Sophia realized he had seen them instantly, pulled down her sleeve and backed away. "Mr. Gabriel, please." Sophia's voice trembled. "Don't say anything to anyone." Gabriel stood still, processing what he'd seen. These weren't fall marks. They were specific bruises, the kind he'd seen before. "Sophia, do you need help? Those marks." "I don't need anything." She cut him off, looking around fearfully. "It's all good, I swear." But Gabriel saw it wasn't. Her eyes were swollen, not just from sleep and heavy makeup, barely hid a bruise on her face. "If someone's hurting you, no one's hurting me," she said too loudly, then looked around, startled, and lowered her voice. It was an accident." "What kind of accident leaves finger marks on an arm?" Sophia closed her eyes. He had indeed seen them. There was no point in lying anymore. "You don't understand," she whispered. "If he finds out someone saw, if he knows people are trying to help me." She stopped, unable to finish the sentence. "Who is he?" "Your husband." Her voice was almost a whisper. "Rodrigo, he's not bad. It's just that sometimes when he drinks." "Sophia, this isn't normal. A husband shouldn't hit his wife." "I know," she said, and for the first time looked directly into his eyes. "I know it's not right, but you don't know him. You don't know what he's like when—" Gabriel saw tears streaming down her face. "Worse things have happened." Sophia nodded, unable to speak. After a moment, she managed to whisper, "Much worse. And it wasn't just me." Gabriel felt a chill. "What do you mean, it wasn't just you?" But Sophia was already gathering the products from the floor, desperate to get out of there. "Forget what I said, Mr. Gabriel. Forget everything. I can't talk about this." And she left, almost running, leaving Gabriel alone with a lot of questions and the certainty that Sophia was in much greater danger than it seemed. Gabriel couldn't work properly for the rest of the day. Those marks on Sophia's arm wouldn't leave his mind, especially that phrase, "It wasn't just me." What could that mean? At lunchtime, Gabriel observed Sophia from a distance. She was on the same bench as always, eating the same sandwich, but now he noticed other things. She ate slowly as if it hurt, kept her left arm always close to her body, and looked back every few minutes as if expecting someone to appear. At the end of the workday, Gabriel made a decision. He called Ricardo, a college friend who worked as a private detective. "Ricardo, I need a favor. Are you still doing investigations?" "Of course, Gabriel. What do you need?" "I want you to find out some things about an employee of mine, Sophia. Let me see here." Gabriel looked through her file. "Sophia Santos married to a man named Rodrigo. What kind of information?" "Everything you can find about her, and especially about her husband. I have a feeling she's in danger." "Understood. How much time do you have?" "As soon as possible." A week later, Ricardo called. "Gabriel, I got what you asked for, but it's better if we talk in person. It's not something for the phone." They met at a downtown cafe. Ricardo arrived with a folder and a grim expression. "Your employee's name is Sophia Santos, 26 years old, married for 3 years to Rodrigo Santos." Gabriel took notes as Ricardo spoke. "She's worked in 4 different places in the last 2 years, always leaving without notice. Her last boss said she always seemed to be injured, and the husband, that's where things get complicated." Ricardo opened the folder. "Rodrigo Santos, 34 years old, but that's not his real name." Gabriel looked at the photo. Rodrigo was a large man with a scar on his chin and a heavy gaze. "What do you mean, a fake name?" "He changed his documents a few years ago. His birth name is Rodrigo Silva Santos. He changed it after he had trouble with the police." Gabriel's blood ran cold. "Rodrigo Silva Santos. That name, Ricardo. Are you absolutely, completely sure? Why do you know him?" Gabriel closed his eyes. Memories flooded back all at once: the accident, the dead workers, the false reports, the man who vanished before the trial, Rodrigo Silva Santos, the scoundrel who killed 3 family men and never paid for what he did. "Gabriel, you went pale. What's going on?" Gabriel opened his eyes and looked at the photo again. Now everything made sense. Sophia's fear, the phrase, "It wasn't just me." Fate had placed the wife of the man he hated most in the world right in front of him. "Ricardo, this man isn't just an abuser, he's a killer." Gabriel told him the whole story. 6 years ago, Mendez Construction was building a large 15-story residential building in Jardines. Rodrigo Silva Santos was the security manager, a contractor, but he worked directly on the site. Gabriel remembered him well, arrogant, yelling at everyone, always blaming others for his own mistakes. "It happened on a Monday," Gabriel continued. 3 workers were on the 10th floor, Antonio, Joao, and Carlos, hard-working men with families to support. His voice grew softer. "The safety equipment failed, the ropes snapped, and all 3 fell in front of their colleagues." Ricardo winced. The investigation showed that Rodrigo had cleared the equipment during inspection, but when the police checked all the papers, showed everything was in order. Falsified documents. Exactly. Rodrigo had signed off saying everything was perfect, but the surviving workers reported that they had complained about the old ropes. Rodrigo told them to keep quiet. Gabriel paused to breathe. Even after 6 years, it still hurt to remember. "The family sued us. I had proof that Rodrigo falsified everything. It would have been easy to prove he was to blame. But then Rodrigo vanished, simply disappeared 2 days before the hearing, abandoning everything and fleeing." Gabriel clenched his fists. Without him to testify, it became difficult to prove the falsification. The lawsuit dragged on for years. The families never received what they deserved. I paid what I could out of my own pocket, but it wasn't enough. "And you never heard from him again?" "Never. Until now, until I found out he married Sophia and continues to harm others." Gabriel looked at the photo again. All his hatred returned at once. "Now I understand what Sophia meant. Rodrigo isn't just a violent husband. He's killed before, and she knows it." The next day, Gabriel arrived at the company knowing what he had to do. He couldn't simply tell Sophia he knew her husband's past. That could make everything even more dangerous. He had to gain her trust first. Gabriel waited until the morning break. Sophia was cleaning windows when he approached her. "Sophia, can I talk to you for a moment?" She looked around nervously. "Did I do something wrong, Mr. Gabriel?" "Not at all. Actually, I want to make you an offer." Sophia stopped cleaning and looked at him suspiciously. "What kind of offer?" "My house is big and I need someone to clean, someone trustworthy. I thought of you." Sophia was quiet. "But I already work here." "You'd continue here in the morning and at my place in the afternoon. It would be extra and I'd pay well." Gabriel saw interest in her eyes but also fear. "How much?" "For $1,000 a month, 3 times a week, 2 hours each." Sophia's eyes widened. $1,000 was almost half her current salary. "Why me?" Gabriel chose his words carefully. "Because you do your work without chatting. You're discreet, and I need someone I can trust." Sophia lowered her head, thinking. Gabriel could see the struggle in her mind. If I start earning more money, he'll want to know where it came from. Gabriel's heart ached. Sophia was afraid even to improve her life. "We'll invent something that you got some extra hours here, or you're selling something." Sophia looked at him with a strange expression. "Why do you want to help me, sir?" "Who says it's help? I need a cleaner. It's work." But they both knew it wasn't just that. "I need to think." "Of course. But Sophia," Gabriel moved closer, "if you accept, I guarantee nothing will happen to you. You can trust me." Sophia looked into his eyes. "How can you guarantee something like that? You don't even know him." Gabriel almost told her the truth right then, but held back. "Just trust me." Sophia remained silent for a while. When she finally spoke, her voice held both despair and hope. "Okay, I accept." Gabriel smiled, but the smile vanished as she finished. "I just hope you know what you're getting yourself into, because when he finds out, and he always finds out, it's going to be dangerous for everyone." Sophia arrived home at the usual time, 6 p.m. The house was on a small, run-down street in San Jose with a rusty gate and peeling paint. She opened the door slowly, paying attention. She expected to hear the TV on in the living room, but everything was quiet. This was never a good sign. "Rodrigo, I'm here." The voice came from the kitchen. Sophia went there and found him sitting at the table with a beer in his hand. He didn't look at her when she entered. Rodrigo Santos was 34, but looked older. Time spent fleeing the police had left its mark. Dark, neatly cut hair, stubble, a scar on his chin from an old fight. He was a big man, broad shoulders, strong hands. Sophia knew all too well. "How was work today?" "Normal as always." "Oh, really?" Now he looked at her. "Because I heard something interesting." Sophia felt her stomach drop. "What?" "Juninho stopped by this morning. Said he saw you talking to the boss quite a bit." Sophia tried to remain calm. Juninho was Rodrigo's cousin and always showed up at the wrong time. "He just gave me some work instructions. Nothing much." "Work instructions?" Rodrigo stood up from his chair. "Since when does the boss give instructions to a cleaner? Isn't that the supervisor's job?" "I don't know." He spoke and I listened. Rodrigo moved closer to her. Sophia smelled the beer. "You're different, Sophia." "What do you mean?" "I don't know, more animated, more put together, like something good is happening." Sophia tried to pull away, but she was backed against the sink. "I'm not different." "Yes, you are." Rodrigo placed his hand on her face, squeezing. "And you know what I think? I think someone's filling your head with ideas." "No one's filling my head." "Are you sure?" He squeezed harder. "Because if I find out someone's helping you, if I find out you're talking about our life, you know what happens, right?" Sophia knew very well. "Rodrigo, I swear there's nothing, no one." He studied her for a few seconds that felt like hours, then released her. "That's better, because you know my history, Sophia. You know what I'm capable of when someone crosses me." Sophia shook her head. "And you know I have nothing to lose. If someone tries to screw me over, if someone tries to take you from me, I'll do the same thing to that person I've already done." His words felt like a stab. Sophia knew exactly what he was talking about. Rodrigo had never told her the details, but she knew he had killed and wouldn't hesitate to kill again. "I know." "Good." Rodrigo returned to his chair. "Now go make dinner, and Sophia, next time your little boss wants to talk, tell him you're busy, understood?" Sophia nodded and began making dinner, her hands trembling. But for the first time in 3 years, there was a flicker of hope in her chest, because tomorrow she was going to start working at Gabriel's house, and maybe, just maybe, he really could protect her. The next day, Sophia arrived at the company earlier than usual. She needed to tell Gabriel about her conversation with Rodrigo to warn him of the danger. Gabriel arrived at his normal time. Sophia waited for him to enter his office, then knocked on the door. "Come in, Mr. Gabriel." "Can I speak with you, sir?" "Of course. Sit down." She sat on the edge of the chair. "It's about yesterday, about that offer. Did you change your mind?" "No, but I need to tell you something, Rodrigo. He got suspicious. Someone told him we talked." Gabriel frowned. "What exactly did he say?" Sophia told him everything, the conversation in the kitchen, the threats, Rodrigo's paranoia. "He said if he finds out someone's helping me, he'll do the same thing to that person he's already done." Sophia finished looking at the floor. Gabriel felt a chill. He knew very well what Rodrigo had already done. "Sophia, look at me." She raised her eyes. "I'm not afraid of him, and you don't need to be either. From today on, you're not alone anymore." Sophia felt her eyes well up. "You don't understand, sir. He's dangerous, very dangerous." Gabriel took a deep breath. It was time to tell at least a little of the truth. "Sophia, I know he's dangerous more than you imagine." Sophia stopped speaking. "What do you mean?" "Because I've heard about him before, and I know what kind of person he is." Sophia stared at him, trying to understand. "But don't worry," Gabriel continued. "From now on, you won't go through this alone anymore." 2 days after their conversation in the office, Sophia was at Gabriel's house for the first time. The house was beautiful, well-maintained, with a garden in the back, very different from the simple little house where she lived with Rodrigo. Gabriel showed her everything: the large kitchen, the comfortable living room, the bedrooms. It was a single man's house, organized but without a feminine touch. "You really live alone?" Sophia asked, wiping the living room table. "I do. Never had time for marriage and all that." Sophia continued cleaning in silence. Gabriel watched her. It was different to see her in a safe place. She seemed less tense, more at ease. "Sophia, can I ask you something?" She stopped and looked at him. "How long have you been married to Rodrigo?" Sophia hesitated. She hadn't expected that question. 3 years. "How did you two meet?" Sophia sat in a chair as if she had suddenly become tired. "I worked in a store. He showed up one day buying clothes. He was different back then, more polite." Gabriel sat across from her. "When did he change?" "Right after we got married." Sophia looked at her hands. "In the beginning, it was just yelling when he drank. Then—" She didn't finish. "Then he started hitting you." Sophia confirmed with a nod. "But it wasn't just that. He would say strange things about people who had crossed him, about what happened to those people." Gabriel felt his heart race. "What kind of things?" "He said he had problems at his old job, that he had to resolve some situations, and that if anyone tried to help me, or if I tried to leave—" Sophia stopped and looked directly into his eyes. "Gabriel, I want to help you." Gabriel was surprised. "What do you mean?" "I know you're not doing this just out of kindness." Sophia's voice was firmer. "No one offers her $1,000 to a cleaner without a strong reason." Gabriel was quiet. "And when you said you'd heard about him before, I saw it in your eyes. It wasn't fear, it was anger." Gabriel took a deep breath. "Sophia, you don't need to explain everything now, but I want you to know I'm going to help you. He's hurt me too much. Now it's my turn to fight back." Gabriel was impressed by her change. "It's going to be risky." "I know, but you know what's riskier? Continuing to pretend everything's fine while he beats me every week." Sophia stood up. "I'm not going home today." "Why?" Because if I go back now knowing there's someone willing to help me, I won't be able to hide it, and then he'll realize something's changed." Gabriel looked at her with respect. Sophia was no longer the frightened woman from the bathroom. She was someone making a difficult decision. "There's a guest room there. Feel free to use it." "Thank you." Sophia smiled faintly. "Now tell me what he did to you." Rodrigo arrived home at 7 p.m. He had worked late and wanted to relax with a beer. He was tired and in a bad mood. "Sophia!" he shouted from the door. Silence. "Sophia, where are you?" Rodrigo went to the empty kitchen bathroom backyard. No one. He grabbed his phone and dialed her number. It rang until it went to voicemail. "What's this all about?" he muttered, pacing the living room. He called again and again. Nothing. By 8 p.m., Rodrigo was uneasy. By 9, worried. By 10, furious. Sophia had never done this before. In 3 years of marriage, she was always home when he arrived. Always. Rodrigo went out and asked the neighbors. "Mr. Rodrigo, I haven't seen Sophia today," said Donna Maria. "She hasn't been around since early this morning." Rodrigo returned home and tried calling again straight to voicemail. He started to think. Sophia had been strange lately, quieter, more nervous, and there was that conversation with her boss that Juninho saw. "Damn her," Rodrigo said to himself. "She really fled. But where to? Sophia had no family in the city, no close friends, no money saved. Where would a woman like her hide? Rodrigo picked up the phone and called his cousin. "Juninho, remember the company where Sophia works? What's its name? Mendez Construction. Why do you want to know? I'll tell you later." Rodrigo hung up and looked at the clock. It was almost 11 p.m., too late to show up at a company. But tomorrow morning he would find out where Sophia was, and when he did, he would have a very serious conversation with her. The next morning, Rodrigo was in front of Mendez Construction before the employees arrived. He waited until activity began and approached the first worker. "Excuse me, do you know Sophia?" "Sophia Santos, the cleaner here." The man looked at him suspiciously. "I do. Why?" "I'm her husband. She didn't come home yesterday. I'm worried." "Oh, I see. She worked here yesterday morning as usual, but I didn't see her in the afternoon." Rodrigo thanked him and continued asking. Everyone confirmed the same thing. Sophia had worked in the morning and disappeared in the afternoon. When Gabriel arrived, Rodrigo approached him. "Are you the owner here?" Gabriel looked at him and felt a shock. It was Rodrigo Silva Santos. The man who had fled 6 years ago was standing right in front of him. "I'm Gabriel Mendez. Can I help you?" "My wife works here, Sophia Santos. She didn't come home yesterday." Gabriel tried to remain calm. It was surreal to be talking face-to-face with Rodrigo after so long. "Sophia the cleaner, right?" "That's right. She worked here yesterday morning. I don't know about the afternoon." Rodrigo studied Gabriel's face. There was something familiar about him, but he couldn't identify what. "You have no idea where she might have gone?" "No. Sorry, I can't help more." Gabriel entered the company. Rodrigo remained on the sidewalk, uneasy. There was something strange about that man. Over the next few days, Rodrigo returned twice more, asking about Sophia. Each time he saw Gabriel, the feeling of familiarity grew stronger. On his third visit, a week later, Rodrigo finally remembered. He was driving home when it clicked. He pulled over and started thinking, Gabriel Mendez Construction, the same Gabriel from the construction site where he worked 6 years ago, the man who almost sent him to prison, and now Sophia, his wife, was working for him. "It's no coincidence," Rodrigo murmured. He took out his cell phone and called the company. "Mendez Construction, good morning. I want to speak with Gabriel Mendez." "Who's calling?" "Rodrigo Santos, Sophia's husband." There was a pause. "Mr. Gabriel is out. Would you like to leave a message? Tell him I remembered where we met and I'm very eager to talk with him." Gabriel received the message instantly. His secretary entered the office with a worried expression. "Mr. Gabriel, Sophia's husband called. He said he remembered where you two met." Gabriel's stomach clenched. Rodrigo had discovered who he was. "Thank you, Marcia. If he..."